42 workers at one of the largest employers in Miami County are frustrated to learn that they are being laid off next month.
Schneider Electric is closing a factory in Peru, Indiana, affecting 306 workers.
That 70% of the jobs that are there now are going to be outsourced to Mexico, and the rest of them will move to the company's other plants in Texas and along the East Coast. Talks with the union and government leaders to retain.
Well, I don't know, it's just kind of hard to say. I kind of was a little bit surreal, you know, that this was happening.
I cry off and on every day that I'm there working, which maybe I'm more emotional than some.
It absolutely is corporate greed, and they have not offered any explanation for it other than it saves the company money.
Schneider Electric is located about 80 miles north of Indianapolis in the small town of Peru, Indiana. For over a century, Schneider has been a staple in the community, making switchgear and switchboard panels for various businesses like Target and Chick-fil-A. But later this year, they will close their doors and move most of the plant's production to Mexico.
I believe when I started there were about 500 people, and it was 3 full shifts. So I mean, it was definitely a packed, busy, bustling place.
Sadly, that isn't the case today. Back in the 70s, Chad's grandmother and father worked there too. It was the largest factory in Peru and paid a good wage. Today, Chad has been at the plant for nearly 20 years and had plans on retiring from there.
And I was thinking, you know, 62 or so years old, I would have 90 points in and have the opportunity to retire. And now it's a whole life change. My wife is a stay-at-home wife. She does some charity work on the side, but as far as income, it is my job that entirely provides our income for the family, so it was going to be a huge change.
Losing his job has him worried about the future.
So now you think, do I have to dig into my retirement to live until I find something better? And that's another scary thought, you know, having to start digging in and then going, well, then will I ever be able to retire? Because if I have to start eating through my retirement savings until I can find something to take care of my family, there isn't going to be much left when it comes time to retire.
You want me to color him?
Regina grew up here. Her mother, sister, and a couple of her aunts retired from Schneider. It was one of the best jobs in this town of nearly 11,000 people.
I was a single parent for most of my daughter's life, and it was a way to take care of her. It had decent benefits and, you know, decent pay.
She remembers the day they were given the bad news.
They brought in somebody nobody knew from the outside, at least none of us really on the floor, and with a guard and lots of security and everything, and just said that they were going to shut the plant down, and, you know, and
After 42 years at the plant and not quite ready to retire, she's heartbroken that it's closing for good.
You know, I went through different stages of emotion, like, you know, kind of shock and what am I going to do? And I probably will find another job to kind of supplement my income for till I'm 65, because I don't want to draw my Social Security just yet, and I don't want to burn through my 401k. So it's scary. I'm not exactly sure what it's going to be like, you know.
Susan started nearly 20 years ago, back when the plant was still Square D.
When I first graduated, I worked at a convenience store, and we waited on all of the Square D workers every day. Every day our lunch rush was Square D, and I was like, I want to work at Square D. I want to work at Square D so bad, so bad.
Well, she finally got her wish.
Actually, when I first started there, I was a single mom, so that's the best pay I've ever had. It's the cleanest factory I've ever been in. And then all the people that I work with, we became really close.
For Susan, this place was more than a job. It was her second family.
It's hard going in there and seeing people you have basically grown up with or grown old with, leaving.
So after hearing that her job was being taken away, Susan's main concern is how will they survive?
I was crushed. I mean, I planned on retiring from there. Now my kids won't have insurance. I gotta find a job at 50. Not a whole lot of people want to hire middle-aged people.
Chad, Regina, and Susan all agree that finding a comparable job close to home will be almost impossible.
Just those jobs just aren't here anymore. So to even come close, I would have to travel or move. I feel like I'd be lucky to make maybe $15 an hour if I stayed here.
The plant closing will have a devastating impact on this community. Layoffs have begun, and local businesses are already feeling it.
The schools have a lot less students. I don't know, and I think people won't have the money to spend even for groceries and that kind of thing. So, like our Kroger's used to be open 24 hours and now it's not, because they did not have that business that they used to have for the 24-hour shift.
There's been several little restaurants start up and close because there's a lot of people already gone from Schneider. And I don't know, it just worries me.
As people leave and the plant empties, the reality of it all becomes very real.
The hardest part is watching people that have been being laid off as we go along are a lot of people I've worked with the whole time I've been there. You know, when you get to the point where there's nobody there now with less seniority than, I mean, I'm down at basically the very bottom. Most of the people that have been there 20, 30, 40 years. We have a couple of guys that are 45-year employees.
The closure of the Peru facility was first announced in February of 2019. The IAM proposed ways for Schneider to save money through wage and benefit cuts in exchange for saving these jobs.
And they wouldn't take it. They wouldn't accept it. Because they're greedy. It makes me mad that we have worked hard to make them money and we don't get treated that well anymore.
It was a real punch in the gut, I thought, because at that point I thought they weren't interested in bargaining in good faith at all, and that's what that proved to me, because, you know, they kept saying, we've got this number in mind, we're going to save this number, we're going to save this much money by moving these jobs, and whatever you guys can come up with to try and get us there would definitely help. And then to be told, well, we appreciate your offer, but at the end of the day, we're going to have to decline.
In 2018, Schneider's profits were $2.7 billion, and their CEO pocketed an estimated $7 million.
We're not asking them to lose money. We're just asking them not to make as much if that's what they feel like they need to do. Because we've been making them money hand over fist for years.
Plant closures affect everyone, from the worker to local businesses and beyond. It's time we level the playing field for the American worker and rally to have regulations designed to prevent corporations from shifting production overseas and being rewarded with tax breaks. Navigating what's next is a process, full of what-ifs, hard choices, and even some tears. But it's nothing we can't overcome together.
But I do believe there's life after this, so I just keep trying to tell myself that, and I tell my coworkers that. I think it'll be fine, eventually.
The last day of production is set for March 27th of 2020. For the Machinist News Network, I'm Belana Cochran.